Good afternoon again, everybody. I am with you again to discuss or to share my thoughts on technology and how I view technology. I will begin by saying that I have mixed emotions regarding technology. I can outline some pros and I can also outline some cons regarding technology. So I'm not sure how I feel about technology. On the one hand, it is true that we have access to the world at our fingertips. You cannot walk down the street, you can't drive down the street, you can't sit at a restaurant, you can't go to the movie theaters, you can't even sit on an airplane now without someone with a MacBook or a laptop or an iPad or a mini or a smartphone where we are constantly hooked up to some type of form of technology. And it has really caused our society to, in my opinion, be codependent. We are so dependent on our technology where it is true that we will leave the house and we forget our phone. And yes, it is sad to say, we will go back for that phone because we can't live without the phone. Well, there's a sense of codependency on that. And sure, we would love to say it's, what if there's an emergency or things, but the truth of the matter is we spend more time on our devices connected to social media or connected to some form of media than we do actually talking. Even texting, we text way more now than we actually do talking. And maybe it's my age or maybe it's just the generation in which I was born and raised in. But you can even see where our technology or our access to technology has shaped our society. Case in point, in 1968 when Martin Luther King was assassinated, news spread through newspaper. It took a few days for states farther away from DC to get word, to whereas the riots here in Baltimore occurred 4 to 5 days after he was assassinated. And now, if something happens in Arkansas, we find out about it within a matter of moments. If something happens in North Carolina, we've seen this with story after story after story. We do not depend on the newspapers. We do not even depend on our local news stations anymore. We have it all at the tip of our fingertips. And our sense of dependency on technology and what technology offers us is really become a grounding force in our society. What do you mean when you say that? I say that we are so dependent on it that if we did not have it, some of us would not know how to function. And feel free to give me your thoughts on that and to disagree with me on that. It will continue to be an open discussion. I will pick up my phone for the news before I turn on my television for the news. We even get Amber Alerts on our phone. We get flood warnings, we get earthquake warnings on our technology devices. And so I see where situations have happened in high schools or elementary schools where there is an emergency and technology allows parents to get an instant access to what's going on and to respond. I can add that to my pros list. That's an absolutely wonderful example of a reward of technology. However, I will say on the other side of things, when you sit at a dinner table, and this is something that I have to say very frequently to my youngest daughter, who is 21, I have to say to her frequently, can you please put down your phone? We're having dinner or we're talking. And she's so dependent on it that sometimes she loses the outside world. And she could sit on that thing for hours and not be, integrated or not be into the world. We can walk down the street and you see it all the time. People walk down the street and they have their heads just like this. You never know what's coming in front of you. And I see that sometimes maybe social media or maybe our access to technology has affected our level of communication, one-on-one communication. I don't know. Again, maybe it's the generation in which I was born and raised in, which leads me back to my first statement. I have mixed emotions about technology. I do see it as something that's powerful and something that's needed and something that is accepted. Yet I also see it, if not used properly or if not accessed properly, something that can be a distraction at times. So I am curious to hear your thoughts. I'm curious to hear some feedback from you and to engage in the open discussion. Thank you.